I'm very comfortable that the rehabilitation being on offer in these prisons is as good as it's going to get anywhere in the country, if not the world.
Fascinating. That new jail is part of a $3.8 billion program to reform the New South Wales prison system.
Russia's Black Dolphin prison houses some of the country's toughest, most violent criminals.
Well, his moment is here. 30 grand riding on one roll. And he looks hungry for this win.
Hey guys, Drifter here. If you haven't already heard, I got a chance to go to Treyarch and play the game early, courtesy of Activision, and at the event, I got to play the Blackout full version of the game, at least the fullest, most up-to-date as of less than a week ago. It was kind of fun. We got to sit down and play with a lot of Treyarch people. We got to play with a lot of YouTubers and international gamers, and it was a sweaty, sweaty night. Blackout was the most successful Call of Duty mode in a very long time, but it did have some issues that the community didn't like, primarily with level 3 armor. So in today's video, I wanted to talk about the things that Blackout has changed since beta, and let's start off with the armor changes, because I think that's what everybody wants to hear about first. Level 3 armor was made a lot more rare in the almost final build of the game that I played. When I was playing the game, I only found it in mystery box or in crates that were dropped from airplanes, and we didn't find it in every mystery box. It was kind of hit or miss in the boxes, but it was pretty common in the crates, the supply drops that would drop from airplanes, and I never once saw level 3 armor on the ground. Except for this one. I found this one on the ground during the pregame lobby. I don't know if the loot tables or the spawns or anything are different during the pregame lobby, but I must have played like 8 hours of Blackout, and this is the only time I saw level 3 armor on the ground. So overall, you should expect to see a lot less level 3 armor when you're playing this game, and a lot more level 2 and level 1. The level of protection that the armor offered was slightly nerfed again, and it's probably going to be changed again even before launch. It's probably closer to about 50% now, and I also don't think it grants you the tac mask or immunity to flashes and stuns. The next question you want to ask, well, what about the health of the armor? How much damage does it take before breaking? Unfortunately, my experience on that was very inconsistent. If I had level 3 armor, it would break in like 3 shots after one fight. It would be done. If the enemy had level 3 armor, they could eat like 50 rounds before it broke. That's just a sort of gaming mine versus theirs problem, and I don't have a good answer for you. The answer that Treyarch gave, I think just on public Twitter a long time ago, was that they were going to make armor protect you less but be more durable so it didn't bust as easy. So it still has some value to it. Speaking of armor and value, we got to talk about loot tables and spawn rarity. Armor in general was much harder to find. There was just a lot less armor. Found it much harder to get level 1. Level 2 was relatively rare, and the protection jump wasn't that extreme. I felt really comfortable in level 2 armor versus the beta where I really had needed to have level 3 to feel comfortable. So less armor to deal with, but you will still deal with some of that. There were oddly less gun attachments laying around. I felt like when I was playing beta, I would pick up a gun and now there would just be more attachments than I could ever really fidget with. Maybe it was my luck, but at least in this build, there didn't seem to be as many gun attachments, so they were more valuable, and there were way way less sniper rifles. In the beta, I could pick up Koshka sniper rifles all the time, and the mystery boxes and supply drops always had paladins in them all the time. It was just very common for me to have a kit that would be a sniper rifle and then a regular rifle to finish somebody off or if they get too close. I love that Vapor X, you know. In this build, sniper rifles were just way less common. I only picked up 1 or 2 the whole time I was playing. You still got paladins out of the box. I think my team found 1 paladin on the ground. That was it. Even though that there's more sniper rifles in the game, they're just not easy to get your hands on. And I don't think you want them to be too common. In a battle royale game, a sniper rifle is supposed to be a rare weapon comparing to PUBG, the Kar 98, the M07, you know, the 50 cal, the AWP from Counter-Strike. It's been so long since I've played PUBG, I'm forgetting my names on them. But you don't want every single character to always have a sniper rifle, even if it's a low value one. They did add the new Maverick sniper rifle, which shoots significantly faster, and it has a cylindrical mag, kind of like a big revolver pistol. It doesn't hit as hard as the Koshka or especially the Paladin. And there's basically a Mark 14 DMR that I didn't get to use very much. It's kind of like a spam sniper. It has pretty rough bullet drops. So be prepared for there to be less sniper rifles and for you to fight over crates to get sniper rifles. Also, more crate fights in general. Since crates are the only way to get level 3 armor and the only reliable way to get snipers, a lot more people were interested in them. Also, maybe just because we were playing with Treyarch employees and YouTubers, I have no idea exactly what general gamers are going to do. Another very noticeable change for me is that graphics were significantly improved. The game appeared, and I played on PlayStation 4 Pro, the game appeared to have overall higher resolution, a more consistent frame rate, way less Minecraft trees, a better draw distance, better anti-aliasing. It just seemed better overall. And I mean, this was immediately noticeable. Like the very second I looked at it, it looked better. And colors were more saturated as well. The original beta was kind of drab on colors. It was kind of washed, almost Modern Warfare kind of themed as well. Colors noticeably more saturated here. Now that could be down to monitor calibration. It could be something that Treyarch did on their end. And maybe I was just excited to be at the event. But yeah, colors were more saturated. This also may just be because I was playing on a PlayStation 4 Pro and we had a very, very fancy Asus monitor was upscaling it, or the whole thing was just nicer and I got bamboozled. But I try to have good eyes when I go to an event. I try to be on top of these things, and I really don't think I was bamboozled. I think the graphics and overall performance just got better. It was a lot more stable too. There were a few more control options like fast pickup versus hold to pickup, but nothing super major. One major thing I noticed, or at least I noticed because I was on the receiving end of it, is that Molotovs got buffed big time. I was playing a game, I was doing great. I was murdering people. I was cleaning up squads. I was on an 8-kill game, and I killed 3 members of Dan Bunting's squad. And if you don't know who Dan Bunting is, he's the studio head at Treyarch. I was in a good position to pop up and kill Dan Bunting, and he did this to me.
Squad destroyed by hostile action. MTC suspended.
I had 149 health. That Molotov wrecked me before I even had a chance to get out of the fire. I reacted immediately. I tried to run out of the fire and get like some better position and kind of like throw down some sort of equipment I had to hold so I could heal before the next fight. No chance. I just got dead immediately. Maybe it was because he got a direct hit with a grenade. Maybe it was because I was prone and it touched more of my body. I don't know, but I got shreked and sent back to my swamp. Another small change is that bullets have slightly bigger and more visible trace rounds. I'm very happy about this because I asked for it specifically in my Blackout criticism video, and I got exactly what I wanted. The bullets are a little bit more visible to you and a little bit more visible to the enemies, unless, of course, you're running a suppressor. Then they'll be like non-visible, subsonic, whatevers. This makes it much easier for you to see how your shots are arcing and how they are performing at long range. This is across snipers and a board, so I think it's a very, very good change. Finally, we have some new weapons added to Blackout, some of which you may have already seen in the gameplay. I'm recording the commentary before we do the gameplay. The additional weapons do allow for a viable pistol, that being the B23R. I think it has a new name now, but it is literally the Raffica from MW3, the good old like Black Ops 2 B23R. It's the B23R pistol. That little 3-round monster is back. It's hands down better than the Mozu and better than the Strife, at least in Blackout. Now, I love the Mozu in multiplayer. The Mozu and I get along great in multiplayer because of the thing it can do with headshots. But as far as Blackout goes, the B23R is the only pistol that I think comes close to being a really good competitive pistol. You can watch me try to get fancy and choke and get an easy kill with it here because we did a match where everybody dropped Nuketown, right? And I got down to 1v1 last guy, and I'm like, dude, this is going to look so good on YouTube. I'm going to creep up on this guy, and I'm going to hit him with my pistol. And that's when I got reminded that assault rifles beat pistols. So keep that in mind if you do run around with the B-23R. Extra sniper rifles and DMRs are nice too. They added the Maverick weapon and the other sniper, which I think I already mentioned their performance. Neither of them are as good as the Koshka and the Paladin, but they add some nice variety to the game. And what we played, there were no new SMGs, no new rifles. They really revealed a lot of stuff in the beta, so there was nothing new in that capacity. And some of the developers did tell me that a melee weapon is coming eventually. I asked for like a fun melee weapon. You know, PUBG has the frying pan, Call of Duty can have the baseball bat or the knife or the laser sword or just whatever. And they said that they were planning some sort of melee weapon pickup on the ground, but it wasn't ready yet, and they didn't want to tell me too much more. So I assume there'll be a fun melee weapon more than just the Tomahawk coming soon. Finally, at the end of the video, there are some extra characters that you get for leveling and prestiging in Blackout that are Blackout specific. They're not specialists, they're not story characters. They are sort of generic-y soldier army guys, but they look really cool, and they're designed to be very high-tier rewards, so I think those are going to be fun to grind for and unlock. There are challenges for your base characters. The only one that I was able to pick up is I picked up Woods' bandana, which I got from the part from the Black Ops 1 campaign, the helicopter spawn area, and it said finish the mission and get to the chopper. I finished the mission, meaning I won that round, but I didn't get to the helicopter because somebody stole my helicopter, so I didn't get to unlock Woods while I was there at Treyarch, so that's kind of poopy, but all the challenges are there, and I think that they spawn in story-specific locations. Like, Woods spawned in the location for his story, so I imagine the zombies, it was in a box, too, it was in a lockbox, so I imagine the zombies characters are going to be able to be picked up somewhere around zombies locations, and Firebreak will be found in, I don't know, a factory, and Seraphs will be found somewhere. You just have to find the thematic location. Somebody will have a guide eventually. Black Ops Pass people get the Shadow Man, who looks really, really cool. That was a pretty high tier reward for the Black Ops Pass, so if you do spend your extra money on that, you do get a nice character for it. And that was most of the changes I noticed since beta. So overall, small quality of life improvements, a little nerf on the armor, significant change in graphics. Almost said huge. That's probably a little misleading. I'll go with significant change in graphics, a few new characters, and just an
He's in the crate. He's one shot.